few years back, I had a chance to speak with someone much older than me. From the outside, she runs a successful business, but on the inside, she was under the weight of the banks. And she wanted my views on, some business topics. Let's call her Mrs. Q. Without giving all the details of the situation, Mrs. Q's bank was making her life miserable. Let me just put it that way. She got a loan and the loan sort of became a monster. While the business expansion she got it for failed, she kept on paying huge interest on the loan. And later the bank moved this to the debt collectors and they were really mean to her. And I remember her telling me every month end, she would have high blood pressure because they would always come back to ask for money. And she ended up paying, 3 times the amount of the loan she got. I listened to her as she talked about all these things, and I have since then know that the banks are not your best friend because the way they make money often keeps you broke. They profit more when you're in debt. They actually want you to stay in debt because that's how they make billions every year through the interest that you pay on your credit cards, your overdraft, your personal loans, and your car finance. And this for me is simple maths. If you save your money in the bank, let's say you put in £2,000, you'll probably get a 4%, 4.5, some good cases you would get say 6% interest on that money. However, if the same bank gives you a credit card, it would charge you more for the money that you're borrowing. The average card interest rate in the UK is about 24%. So the difference between 24 and 6 goes to your bank. It's as simple as that. So the more you're in debt, the more their revenue grows. Let's say you owe 2,000 on a credit card and you only make the minimum payment every month at a 24% APR. It would take you about 25 years to pay off. And you will pay a total of about 5,300. 3,300 interest on the 2,000 that you borrowed. Absurd. So while you think that you're managing the situation by paying, just the minimum balance, the bank is loving you because they continue to count profits. And I'm sure they hate me because I pay off every month. Whenever I use my credit card, I pay off everything every month. I do not carry it over. Every time you carry debts from one month to the next, you're paying them to use the money that you don't own. And they're not in a hurry for you to pay it off. Why would they be? You're in their profitable accounts. Yeah, they love you, And the longer you stay in debt, the more valuable you become to your bank. And this is not, I'm valuable as a customer. No, you're valuable as a revenue stream. And that's why most times they would offer you 0% for the first 12 months. This is just to get you into the door. And you see, right after that, the fees starts, the interest kicks in and you start paying. So what I always advise is that you don't play the game by their rules. You get financially literate. You pay down your debts aggressively. It is very important. And you use credit wisely. I did a video on whether it even makes sense in the first place to have a credit card, and I'll link it here. So you should check it out. Your bank won't tell you how to use debt. Trust me, they won't tell you how to use debt. The rich people use debt differently, but your bank just lets you bury yourself. They want you to think that, debt is something you can use to survive. You can use it to cover your bills, your emergencies, and even your wants that you cannot afford. So in a way, it's not bad in itself. Debt is not bad in itself. It is how you use it. You see, the rich would use debt as a lever. They don't borrow to buy designer shoes, holiday packages and all those things. They borrow to invest in things that grow in value and pay them over time. They borrow to buy rental property. They borrow to grow their business. They borrow to buy dividend stocks. Meanwhile, someone earning 2,535 a month is paying 24% interest on a credit balance for something that is just a want, not a need. So debt in itself is not the problem. you should always consider what you're using it for. Why are you using it? Because most times these debts bury us. If rich people are using it wisely, we should use it wisely. And your banks, trust me, they won't tell you. As long as you keep using it wrong, they keep making money. You keep using it wrong, you keep misusing it, you're paying them. But the moment you master it, you stop being profitable to them. You only use it and don't just pay the minimum. You have to pay everything you owe. Work to pay off your debts as aggressively as possible. The third one, banks would always tell you to save and save and save. They encourage you, they entice you with, better interest rates and all those things. Savings is very important. But what they don't tell you is that inflation over time erodes the value of your money. Keeping a £1,000, for example, in a bank and getting £60 interest on it is not completely wise, because what 1,000 would have bought the previous year may cost more than 1,060 in the current year. So saving is just one step. If you stop there, you're falling into the trap that banks love, because then you keep your money there, they pay you peanuts and use your cash to generate more money for themselves. Your savings will not make you rich. It will make them rich. So you need to move away from that step 1 into step 2, which is investing. Open a stocks and shares ISA, for example, if you're in the UK. Learn about index funds. Learn about ETFs. These are simple, low-cost ways to build long-term wealth, even if it is £50 a month. And I say it all the time, no matter how small, the main thing is that you're consistently putting your money away, and it can compound, to tens of thousands over time. Let your money grow. Don't let it just sit and sleep in the bank. And if you're thinking, how do I know what to save? How do I know what to invest? How do I even know how to start investing? Then you should see my next video, and I'll see you there.